I've been working with the car industry for 20 years, bringing radio technology into the vehicle. Digital radio, combining IP and over-the-air broadcast systems, new digital standards, all with intent of enhancing radio. And for years I tell car companies that radio is the most prominent feature in the car. Sometimes they believe me, sometimes they don't. Recently, let's say maybe 5-6 years ago, they get very skeptical. Oh no, it's got to be podcast, or maybe it's got to be streaming. Then the car companies started connecting their vehicles. And lo and behold, I was right. Around 70% of all listening in the car is from radio. So there's great validation of the importance of radio in the vehicle. Yeah, we believe most of it is local. We found that when you look at actual radio usage, quite a bit of it is the local content, local personalities, local news, sports, weather. And so it's really an endorsement of the basic radio model.
What have you got here at NAB 2025?
We're really showing two main products. We're showing our HD radio system, which is digital radio primarily for North America. In addition, we have Autostage, which is our IP delivered combined with over-the-air radio content. That's a global system that we're rolling out in multiple countries around the world, have millions of cars on the road. And that's really a global system that allows us to combine local content with IP-delivered content to create a richer experience anywhere in the world.
And you've got a couple of vehicles here, a car, and also a Harley. Wow.
That's right. That's right. So with the Harley, we're showing HD radio. In the Harley, we have our technology not just in cars, but in motorcycles and trucks. So what we're going to do for you is demo the system so that you can get a feel of one of the actual production implementations of the system in the field.
Terrific. Let's do it.
Great. I'm going to hand you off to Juan.
Okay. Hello, Juan.
Hello.
I hear you're a Radioinfo reader.
I am a Radioinfo reader. I get the newsletter and excited to sit down in the car with you.
Terrific. Well, show me what we've got here.
It's got HD radio, which is digital AM and FM, and then it also has DTS Autostage, which is a hybrid solution for automotive. What you're seeing here is 105.7 FM, so it's an HD station being broadcasted. And then what they're also doing is sending album art along with the content that they're playing. The other element of this, like I mentioned with DTS Autostage, which is live in your region of the world, in Australia, New Zealand. It's a global solution, as I mentioned, hybrid, broadcast and IP in the car. And what you're seeing here is a station list of all the stations right now, or the favorites that have been marked here, where we have station logos for every station, including analog radio stations. So you can see here that we've got a K-Love logo here for an analog FM station. It would be the same thing in Oz, where you would have analog radio or DAB. If the station's not sending the logo, Autostage would jump in and populate the logo for the broadcast. In Oz, we're launched on Tesla. So all Tesla vehicles in Oz have DTS Autostage and would be ingesting the logo from DTS Autostage. What stations here in the States are doing, and it's also starting to happen more in Canada as well, is stations are starting to utilize this metadata field of the image to generate new revenue by adding in client images. So when a commercial is played, the client logo would then appear to match with that, and charging a premium for the advertiser, therefore generating kind of additional revenue streams.
On that point, I've also heard from various people that QR codes are popular for advertisers in that little square. It's
Absolutely.
The perfect QR code size.
Absolutely. Stations are doing that. They are sending QR codes.
I see there's an ad.
Yeah, so they're doing Autism Awareness Month, right? Yep. So they're using this space right now, not necessarily for advertisement, but it looks like they're trying to promote the Autism Awareness Month for a charity fundraiser for the community.
Oh, I see. So the song is still playing.
Yep, the song is still playing.
This ad comes up on rotation during
Exactly.
the song, and overlays from the album art or the station logo.
You got it. So they're middleware solutions that allow the station to manage the metadata. So doing all of the mapping of album art, artist images, and then also doing the mapping of client images, client logos, and all that custom text. And then from those middleware solutions, they're then distributing it to the transmitting equipment that would then broadcast that out over analog or again like DAB using this is slideshow and things like that to to get the metadata out.
And we're seeing it in this format in this car because I presume that's the layout that this car company wants. But what about other screen sizes and other cars?
Yeah. This is, I mean, they're getting larger. The importance of metadata is super, super critical. Auto brands are putting these screens in the vehicle to have a great user experience. And if when they go to radio, FM, DAB, it's a bad experience, if there's no metadata, it will create doubt as to what, how do we improve this, right?
One of the big issues is the radio interface in a car when it starts up is hidden. There's several clicks to get to something like what you might be showing.
Yeah.
How does that work here if it's turned off?
Yeah, so in this car, when you start up, you actually end up with this screen here that shows you this kind of navigation. You'll see radio here. You'll see what radio station you're listening to here. And you can just swipe over and bring you to the home screen. But radio is pretty prominent here in this space, and you can just select radio and go to radio. You can also position it. So I can go in and I can do drag and drop. I can move it around, move radio around where I want to. And then I can see that it's been saved in that location. So you do have the ability to move that around and play with where you want to put radio. And that's definitely a trend that I'm seeing more and more, right? As again, screens are getting larger, these infotainment systems are getting more advanced, so they're allowing more usability for that customized experience.
And what about the way the screen looks when you're using multiple functions? Say, listening to the radio, you may want to still see the station and the album art, but you might want to see your map.
So that's
happen?
Easily adjustable here. You just select that button and it kind of shrinks the radio screen a little bit so you can still see radio, and then you have your navigation with how you want to do it.
George, another of the features of DTS Autostage is the information that the broadcaster can get from the car, and you're going to show me that here.
What you see here is the user interface that any broadcaster would have access to once they sign up for DTS Autostage. One of the most requested features for radio stations has been we want to be able to change logos in the car, right? So this interface allows you to change your logo in a matter of minutes in some of the models. The other obviously important feature for us is to allow broadcasters to see what their audience looks like in the car, right? This allows you to see real data about real people in real cars as they tune in, and I will show you right now. So the first chart you will see is called the station reach, and this allows you to see on a daily basis how many sessions you have. Those are not uniques, by the way, but it gives you a sense of your audience size, right? And it allows you to see the average session time and your percentage reach of the market. What we see here is a session is defined as a minimum of 15 seconds listening time. Obviously, it's more than that because the average listening time, obviously, it's 19 minutes. Right. So it's
that's very how long people are in the car listening to their radio.
And based on my personal experience with seeing analytics across the spectrum, this is a very good engagement for this particular radio station. So this shows that the listeners are engaged, they're staying on for a long time. It's a music station. The other number you see here, that's the number you mentioned, the percentage reach of the market. So in your coverage area, we see that you reach 6.92% of your potential audience in the cars equipped with DTS Autostage. The next chart, which is again one of my favorites, is we call this the daypart activity, and this allows you to see the orange is the date you've selected. So in this case is April 6th. If we go to a regular, let's go to April 1st. This is a weekday, it's a Tuesday. You see what a lot of stations would expect in an urban area. You have your morning and your afternoon peaks with some peaks in the middle, right, for lunch breaks.
So this is pretty average expectation that the breakfast show is well listened to. The peak of the breakfast show is at 8 o'clock. Then people get to work or school drops off. There's a lunch break and maybe the school pickup. Yes.
Correct.
and then a peak in the evening as well, probably when people are driving home. Is that
Right.
what we're seeing?
That's correct, and then it tapers off. Another really cool thing we can see, and it confirms what probably radio stations know already, but it's good to have that confirmation in a timely manner. By the way, we share this with the broadcasters with a 24-hour delay. It takes us some time to process all this information across almost 12 million vehicles worldwide, so we need that time to process it. We also, for privacy and safety reasons, we cannot share this in real time, but it's almost real time.
Yeah.
But I want to share with you a day of the year that we all know. So what you see here is completely out of whack. This is a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
You've seen the previous Tuesday, which had the normal peaks.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
So
all
this
over the
is-
place.
Yeah, because people have been out at their New Year's parties, they've slipped
Right.
in. Yeah, okay.
So you
yeah.
can see that. The other chart we show here is your heat map, right? So the heat map in this version of the analytics is done on a transmitter basis. So this particular station has HD and FM, but
So we're looking at here in Las Vegas, the FM transmitter of this station.
102.7, correct?
Yep. And
you
then
can,
how does that compare with the HD transmitter?
I would say it's pretty much on top of each other, because this station doesn't have. There you go. You can see that. It's similar, right? Only has some difference. Some cars have HD, some don't. So you see that the concentration varies a little bit. But that gives you a sense of how. And we've seen in the United States stations use this information for two reasons. One is, if you're a commercial radio station, you obviously understand where your audience spends most of their day, so you could probably target advertisers in that area. Also, if you're an engineer, you also want to know where most of your listeners are most of the time. You could probably make some infrastructure decisions, like boosting signals in certain areas. In other areas, this is a very unique place, because
Yeah,
obviously
in
it's
the
a
middle
desert.
of nowhere.
Yeah,
in the
middle of
desert,
nowhere,
yep.
right? But in other more, you'll see more urban agglomeration. You see the traffic just moving on the highway, so you'll see some of that. It's useful information. Finally, because this is a music radio station, we give broadcasters an idea of the most listened to songs for their stations in any given week, and we give them a basic comparison with the week before. So you'll have a timely feedback of whether you're overplaying a song or underplaying a song. That's something we think music program directors would love to know.
That's very powerful data. Thanks very much for showing it to me.
You're welcome.